once I got, because I used to go to grandma's house a lot. I think up until maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9, and my mom and dad broke up, and I wasn't going over there as much. But I remember as I got of age, maybe 15, 16, 17, and I'm starting to drive. And I drive to 79th and Creek Gear and try to always find my cousins, and didn't know where they were. I used to actively drive to go and look for Eugene, Bobby, Dee Dee, and like, where did everybody go? Where they at? I need y'all. Where y'all at? Yeah. And then, Sherry kind of broke down to me everything that's really happening. I'm like, so I was like, oh, okay, this is what it is, So when I found out where he was, when Sherry told me, I said, oh, let me go to the county and see him. Yeah. So that was my reconnection. Actually, for real, when he first saw me, he didn't even remember who I was.
Really?
For real. I'm like, no, I don't think I said cuz. I don't know what I said, but I remember him just looking. And we just sitting in the glass and we just looking at each other.
Wow.
Then I was like, look, Greg. He was like, and he got up and wanted to wipe his eye and cry, you know what I'm saying? And we started vibing and talking and I come see him and he dropped so many dimes on me. One of the things he told me, everything that shines is not gold, And he broke that down to me and explained to me, everything that shines is not gold. He was and I think that's really what I was looking for when I used to go back and try to find him when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, just kind of teach me that stuff. And he was teaching me that. And actually, that's when I think Nikki was pregnant with Lil Greg. And I was telling him about Nicole and our relationship. And he was like, oh, man, that's good. If you find a good one, stay with everything that shines is not gold. He started breaking stuff down to me like that. And we started building that connection that we had when I was a little boy, watching him run around with J-Mac and all them, I'm like, he'll take me around the corner, what I'm saying, show me what's happening.
Yeah. I remember J-Mac, I didn't like him either for some reason. I thought he was a bad influence. And come to find out, they were all bad influence on each other. They was just, doing whatever they do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if I like
energy.
it. Yeah. And then as time went on, and I got to see him working at University of Chicago and doing well, I'm like, silly girl. Nothing was wrong with him. It was just in my head. Trying to want the best and prejudging somebody. Yeah. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I learned.
Yeah. That's it. I think all of us as parents has went through that. Yeah. Because we just been trying to protect our kids.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So as we get older, we kind of understand, And even now, with some of my little Greg's friends, my son's friends, I'm like, oh, he did all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he was over here bad, Yeah, but it's just scary because you kind of just see the energy that's happening.
Yeah.
At the time, Then as you get to sit back and watch and learn them and talk to them a little bit more, it's like,
And believe it or not, Papa Green always loved Jimmy Mack. Always. That was like his guy. Whenever he came over on Vince's, first thing he said, where's Jimmy Mack? Where's Jimmy Mack? And I'm like, I don't want him to come over
here. That's cool. Father Green. Hey, you know what? For Daddy's podcast, Auntie, I always like to take time to give flowers to fathers, to men out here. Are there any fathers or father figures who you would like to shout out, give them their flowers, and just tell their name and tell a little bit about what they did as a father that you really feel is powerful?
Yeah, the first person would be my grandfather. We used to call him Papa Fuller. His name was Robert Fuller. May his soul rest in peace. He was a type of grandfather that, well, first of all, he taught me how to cook. If you wanted somebody to teach you how to cook, because usually when a man know how to cook, a man know how to cook. Okay,
where we living? Because all I remember is Papa Fuller, because I just want to know as much as I can know. I have a picture of him in a 2-flat or 3-flat or something like this, and I remember he was in a room with like some tubes in his nose, and he would be in the room a lot with the oxygen thing. But other than that, so everything like about Papa Fuller, I like to know because I don't really like know where y'all was living or none of that.
That was the second apartment they lived in. The first apartment they lived in was on 53rd and Prairie.
Okay.
And that's where they moved
Okay.
when they came here from Alabama.
Alabama,
Yeah,
okay.
they came up here from Alexandria City, Alabama.
Okay.
And they
So
stayed.
Papa Fuller's Big Mama's.
Big Mama Fuller's
Daddy.
husband. Papa Fuller and Big Mama Fuller were husband and wife,
Okay.
which is aunties
And
grandmama's mother
mom
and
dad.
father.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So he was the type of man that, like I said, first of all, he could cook. And he taught me how to. I was talking about this yesterday with somebody. He was the one that taught me how to cook good salmon croquettes, because most people don't know how to cook it, and their hands get all mushy and stuff. But you learn how to put the salmon croquette in one hand, and move it around and get it where you want it to be. Then you take this hand with the flour and put the flour on, and you put it in the grease. So he taught me how to do that. He taught me how to cook gumbo. Me and Uncle Booby had a gumbo cook-off, and my gumbo won because
Uncle Booby, where you at? Where you at, Uncle Booby?
Shouting out Uncle Booby. His real name is Robert, but my sister couldn't say Robert. She started saying Booby, so that's how he got that name.
Is that how Lil Bobby got his? What? Oh, he named after his daddy.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
named after his daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So he taught me how to cook gumbo, and we had a cook-off at my house one year. And Papa Fuller would always use fresh food, fresh seafood, everything. That's how I made mine. Uncle Booby used that imitation crab meat and imitation this. So when everybody started tasting the food, it was like, okay, Auntie Mary's gumbo win hands down. So he talking about, oh, okay, so you won. So let's just put our gumbo together. I'm like, you're not putting that imitation stuff in my gumbo. I just spent $1 million to make this gumbo. You would not put imitation in my
That's
gumbo.
all right. That's all right.
But the most important thing about Papa Fuller is, I believe everybody in our family of my age and older have told Papa Fuller secrets, that he never judged us and he never told the secret. So he took our private conversations with him to his grave. I know myself, my sister Pat, my parents, Auntie, we could all confide in him and didn't have to worry about it going any place at all. Wow. That was one of the most important things I loved about my granddad, that no matter what I did, and I did some things, I could go and tell him. He would talk you through it, but he never judged you for it.
Awesome. Talk you through it.
But never judge you for
Never
it.
judge you.
And you never had to look at him embarrassed or cross-eyed thinking, okay, I done told him this, because it was almost like, okay, you done told me and I'm letting it go. Just don't do it again, or let me tell you where you went wrong with this. Or, he just talk you through it and let you see why you should or should not have done what you did. And then you never worried about it again. And he was just same Papa Fuller.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. So a little bit more about Papa Fuller. All right, so you said he came up here from Alabama.
Uh-huh.
Do you know about like what age, and then like what did he do for a living? Like how did he get up here, and then how did he survive once he got here?
He and Grandma came up here, and if I remember correctly, Grandma Fuller, and I believe.
So they both were in Alabama?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's
Big
where
Mama and Big Papa was in Alabama and came up here together?
Came up here together.
Oh.
But I think they came up with Grandma, and Auntie came later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when they came up, they moved on 53rd and Prairie.
Okay.
503 East 53rd Street.
Okay.
I remember that.
Okay.
And their telephone number was Drexel 35211. I never will forget that.
Their telephone number.
That was their telephone number. Back then it was DR. you had words. So Drexel was Drexel, but they did DR3.
Oh.
5211. That's how the telephone numbers were back then. Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it wasn't like it is now where you just had area codes.
Oh.
No. So, as a matter of fact, ours was WA44485, and WA stood for Wagner.
Wow. So why Wagner?
That's what the word was.
So
you would have Wagner written on there, but when you dial it, you just did WA.
never knew that.
Yeah, so that's how telephone numbers were back then.
And this is 19 what?
Oh, baby. Let me see.
40s?
Back in the...
30s?
Yeah, back in the 40s.
But this is back in the 40s?
40s and earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, because I was born in 49, so it was earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when Big Pop and Big Mama moved up here, I believe they brought Big Mama, your grandma, up here with them, and then they sent for Auntie.
Oh, okay.
And they lived there until the building was getting condemned. Then they moved to the building that you're talking about, where you saw him with the oxygen.
And where was that at?
That was on 53rd too. It was 52nd, just a block down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because I definitely remember them train tracks.
Yeah.
I remember the train tracks in the air. I remember that.
Yeah, that was the L station. The L
Yeah, I
going right
remember
there.
that. That's something that I remember
Yeah.
about the building, the trains going by when I was
the
little.
L.
It used to sound so loud to me
Yeah,
going by. I
until you
remember
get
that.
used to it.
Yeah.
Because we used to go there and stay there every summer. And then we would run down to 53rd and Kings Drive. That's where Big Mama used to get off the bus. And she worked at the Wonder Bread Company. And she used to bring us all kinds of cupcakes and bread and all sorts of sweets. So we used to run down there to meet her because we knew she was bringing us a lot of sweets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so then the building...
Huh?
She had the good stuff.
Oh,
she had the
yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
And so the building that you remember, we had to literally, and they got angry with us because they didn't want to move, even though they knew the building was going to be condemned. They like, we're not moving, we've been there all our lives. So we had to get them out the house, go in and literally move them from where they were to where you remember. And when they found that out, they were so angry. They didn't speak to us for a little while.
Wow.
But then they got over it. Because then they saw they was condemning the building, tearing the building down.
Okay.
So then that's when Papa ended up start getting all the bad upper respiratory problems.
Oh.
And that's when you start seeing him with the oxygen in his room.
And that's, because that's what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did he do for a living?
Where did Papa work?
If you don't remember, that's fine.
I don't think I remember.
Okay.
Because I know he went to work at night. Because he would sit up and every Friday night he would watch boxing. He used to love to watch boxing on TV. He'd watch boxing on TV and then he'll leave and go to work. So wherever he worked nights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't remember
okay.
where.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say steel mill because I don't think he worked at steel mill.
Okay.
But it was a night job where it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the other person I want to give accolades to is Mr. Green,
Okay.
which is my son's, Lil Bobby's grandfather. They loved the ground Lil Bobby walked on. I used to have to remind them, you're the grandparent, I'm the parent. So now you can have him when I say you can have him. I don't get him when you say I can have him. They loved Lil Bobby. And every week, they would bring an allowance over there for Lil Bobby and bring food for Lil Bobby. For the house.
Okay.
And then when Lil Bobby got in trouble, every month, Mr. Green would bring me $500 for the lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Every single month.
Oh, wow.
Probably up until the day he passed away, because even when he was giving me money for the lawyer, he was helping with money for private investigator. And so he and Mrs. Green, well, I have to say, even though I'm giving accolades to men, behind every man is a strong woman.
Yeah, go ahead.
And she was the one that said, look, this is what we're going to do. This is little Bobby. You're going to do this. And Papa Green had no problem with doing it. So she would make sure. And even, just before she passed away, she looked at me and said, Mary, our boy is in trouble, isn't he? I said, yes, ma'am. And she passed away like a day or two after then. And Mr. Green continued to bring that money over every single month.
Wow.
So I have to give him accolades because they loved him as if he was their own child.
Yeah.
And
that is so awesome.
I have to say, I had the best in-laws in the world. I had the best in-laws God could ever give a person.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, but he was fantastic.
Shouts out to Papa Green.
Yeah, and he loved him some Wild Irish Rose. He didn't really drink until Uncle Booby. Uncle Booby put everybody on something.
Oh, my God. Uncle Booby got me. I got a story for Uncle Booby.
Yeah, well, you got to get it.
Oh, my God.
Because he get everybody on something.
My God.
And so he turned Papa Green over to this Wild Irish Rose. And every time he come over there, I'd have to have him a bottle of wine. And I had a problem trying to find Wild Irish Rose because all the stores didn't sell it.
Okay.
I couldn't even get it from Kenwood Liquor Store.
Okay.
Well, you could get it by the case.
Okay.
And I wasn't trying to buy a whole case.
Right.
So I found a little corner liquor store and went in there and they had the Wild Irish Rose. Yeah. So I used to buy that for Papa Green and he'll sit up there with me, drink a couple of drinks of Wild Irish Rose and give me the money for little Bobby, for the lawyer. And he'd stay for a while and then he would leave. That's cool. And yeah, he was a great, 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 great man. And then my last accolade would be for my dad. No, I guess, my dad, but your dad, he did so much for me.
Who we talking about?
First, I'm going to go to your dad.
Okay.
He did so much for me. When I first started going through my first cancer bout, he would come over to my house. He would show me what exercises to do. He would tell me what food to eat. He would tell me what not to eat. He would just tell me all of my do's and my don'ts going through. And, he went to see Grandma every day. And when he left Grandma's house, he'd come by my house just to make sure I was okay. So I have to give him his accolades. But I was even able to tell him that way before he got, real sick, that he really helped me through when I didn't have anybody but him because Uncle Oscar didn't know what to do. He tried, but he didn't know what to do. But your dad was there every day to make sure that I was okay. So I have to give him his accolades. And then the last person would be my dad. He would teach us. He was very stern, but he wanted to make sure that we grew up to be good people and not get in trouble. Or if we got in trouble, he was there for his kids. And one thing he was not going to let anybody do is mess with his children. His family was the most important people in his life. And by him being the only child, he didn't understand when we would fight, us siblings would fight. And he would tell us, you don't fight each other. You fight people that's in the streets that's bothering you, but you don't fight each other. And my mother had to make him understand that that's just what siblings do. But we won't let anybody else hurt us. Right. But I mean, I might try to beat the hell out of you, but but I'm not gonna let anybody else do it. So, and we had to make Daddy understand that because he loved his family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that brings me to my next question. And thank you for those accolades to those men. Thank you for that. And I do agree behind every man a strong. What was you about to say? Behind every man
the strong woman.
is a strong woman. I do. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Okay, but all right. So granddaddy loving his family. I really appreciate the way I grew up and the family that I grew up with. It's a movie, Soul Food, where it's like just a family coming together, listening to music, eating good food, just partying, having a good time. And I can relate to that movie so well because I remember going to grandma's house, grandma and granddaddy's house, which was your house when you were a kid. But as you got older, all of you all got your own houses, but we still went to grandmama and granddaddy's house. My question to you is, do you have a vision? Can you explain how grandmama and granddaddy cultivated an environment where everybody would come to their house? I don't know. It felt like every weekend. I don't know how often it was, but it just felt like all the cousins. So you started earlier that the parents and the kids couldn't be in the same room. So if the adults was downstairs, we was upstairs. If y'all was upstairs, we was downstairs on the pool table. But when you all were kids, was it always like this family thing where everybody came to grandmama and granddaddy house and then us cousins, Tanya, Sherry, and Dee Dee just jumped in there? But how did that all come together that we really had Big Mama's house?
Well, it actually started with Big Mama